Welcome back, guys, to Project Zomboid. This is day 2 of Kristie Faye's Chance of Survival. But what Kristie doesn't know, that in Project Zomboid, there is no hope for survival. This is how Kristie died. Well, Kristie wakes up at almost 4 o'clock in the morning. Unfortunately, the watch that she found yesterday does not have an alarm clock. And so she wakes up to just the light of the TV, having turned off all the other lights for safety's sake. She had drawn the blinds and made sure that nothing crept in. She got closer to the TV to feel the comfort of the light of it, and remember that she was still reading a book from yesterday, and pulls it open and starts reading. Time seems to shift as she loses herself in her book, her ears just keeping a lookout for sounds and noises. But time passes, and as she reads her book, before she knows it, the TV programming starts to come on. Right around that time, she starts to get hungry too, so she quickly makes something in the kitchen so that way she can get back in time for her show. She opens up the fridge and remembers that she had gotten some quick eats from the neighbor, and so she grabs a sandwich, a cheese sandwich, checks the front door, seeing nothing, and comes back to where she was standing before. She pulls out her book and tries to do what she can to read and watch at the same time. Every second counts these days, and she's getting refreshed on cooking things that she knows but might need to remember when she's out and doing her own thing. The book on tailoring has lots of interesting concepts, but for a novice like her, she still has new things to learn, and even the basics need to be practiced. However, the cooking seems to get through to her, and she learns new ways of making things, achieving a level that maybe without the stress of the apocalypse she wouldn't have been able to achieve just as a average everyday baker. Or was she a baker? Was she a cook? Well, we know that she's a chef, but we don't know what she normally does. We haven't really learned where her job might be. All we know about Kristie is that she seems pretty well put together for having things kind of fall apart around her. She's not the strongest or the fittest of people, but she's handy with a blade and knows how to maintain her tools and knives. And thanks to the books around her and some TV programs, she's starting to learn to become more well-rounded. The TV show ends, and she finishes the book, spending most of the morning on it. She goes back to the bookcase and puts tailoring away, checking her bag to make sure that she didn't leave any books in there. So she decides to poke her head out just to see how things are before getting a drink after getting a drink of water. She decides to check the backyard, but as she goes to check, she finds that the weather outside has turned foggy. At first she's concerned that things might sneak out on her, but then she realizes that if a fog can affect her, then maybe it can affect the things that are out there. So she opens the door and steps out. She doesn't see any immediate concerns. It seems clear for now. She knows that she visited the neighbor's house, and he had a few things. As she gets closer to his house, she sees some zombies, some walking inanimate dead, just over the fence. They see her, but they can't reach her. Or do they see her? No. They're just quietly moving about. She's careful to check her behind her as she sneaks her way back over to her neighbor's house. Her former neighbor. She sneaks along and goes to the house that she rarely ever visited. The neighbor's neighbor. Maybe she can find some things in this house. She checks. Kitchen looks clear. Double checks the backyard and her surroundings. No zombies to be seen. She tries the back door, and it opens, actually. She sneaks inside, closing the door behind her. She finds a huge flashlight, the kind that shines a very big beam, and she honestly just takes the battery out of her old one and is quick to throw it away into the cabinet that she just found this one. She doesn't need 2 flashlights, but what she does need is a really good flashlight. She then proceeds to check the cabinets, looking for anything to help her make food. She finds a can of oats and some cocoa powder, some yeast, baking powder. She hears some rummaging around. The way she came is still clear. She closes the blinds and hopes that it wasn't anything important. She grabs a can of soda and a can of chili, throwing them in her bag, and continues to loot the kitchen, finding some beef jerky and ramen noodles, instant popcorn, several different things to keep her pretty fit. She sees a rolling pin and thinks to use it as a weapon, but realizes she has a couple metal bars and, even beyond that, a hammer and a knife. She finds some canned goods and throws those into her bag as well, realizing she probably has enough food to last her for a couple days now, both at what's at home and what she just found. So she moves throughout the rest of the house, checking the closet first. She finds a crowbar, a very handy tool. It can also operate as a weapon. She throws it into her bag, feeling the weight of her bag gets much more heavy than what she's used to. She checks the garage and finds a saw, actually. She already had one, so she puts it back. What she doesn't have is a wrench, so she takes that and leaves the other things to stay in the garage. She moves throughout the house, trying her best not to make too much attention, and then comes across 2 broken windows. Alert, she moves throughout the rest of the building, checking, closing blinds. Wondering why these were broken into, and if there's anyone still around. She sees no activity outside, but realizing that the place isn't as secure as she had thought, she moves quickly to the other blind, and closes that as well. Realizing what had happened, looking at the TV and realizing just how loud it is, she turns it off completely, hoping that the loud TV does not attract any further problems. She does her due diligence to check the rest of the rooms, getting another drink of water from the bathroom. Drinking from a faucet is, in her day and age, wasn't too unthought of. She doesn't find much of use in the laundry room, so she moves upstairs. Starting to finally get hungry, she decides to take the beef jerky out that she found, and quietly moves up into the second floor, on high alert still for any zombies that might have snuck in. She opens up the first bedroom that she sees, and starts checking the closets. She finds a notebook, which might be useful to leave some notes behind, just in case the worst was to happen. Inside, one of the Inside one of the closets, she finds a duffel bag, which is a much-needed upgrade from her satchel. It's bigger, sturdier, and can hold more things. She puts the satchel on the ground, starts rummaging around it, taking everything that was in the satchel and pretty much open-ending it into her duffel bag. Taking the time to throw everything inside and get things situated with the extra room. The duffel bag also seems to weigh on her shoulders a little bit easier, and she finds that she can carry much more stuff without feeling too weighed down. The rest of the things, however, don't have much inside them. Just another empty notebook that she quietly just puts into her bag. She doesn't know how long she's going to need to take notes or what for, but having a couple notebooks to take notes won't be too bad of an idea. She enters another room. Finding duct tape in the closet. Closes the door and checks the drawers. Nothing. The child's room doesn't usually have things that adult might need in the apocalypse. She moves from bedroom to bedroom now, checking closets, finding things like a screwdriver and a school bag. An extra bag might not help too much right now with so little to carry, but it might be useful in the future. She finds a gun case in this next closet and some interesting choice in underwear. She checks the gun case and finds an M14 rifle. She's not too familiar with how to shoot one of these, so she decides to grab the case and put her in her left hand just to carry with her. She's going to take it back to the house, and hopefully after some time with a shotgun, she might learn to shoot better. Might be able to actually put this to use, and if not, maybe one of her roommates knows how to shoot a gun. She still has hope that one of her roommates might show up and be okay, but if anything, this seems to get worse and worse. She takes some tweezers that she finds from the first aid cabinet and the upstairs bathroom, just in case she might get some shards of glass or anything else stuck in her hand. She decides to leave through the front door, seeing if there's anybody out there. She doesn't see anybody. She steps out. It's not until she steps out that she sees a group of them off and to the right. She quietly backpedals towards her house. The way looks clear, but as she looks down at her watch, she realizes it's 12 o'clock and she's missing a show. She runs back into the house that she just came from, and closes, and runs to the TV. Every moment counts. So she turns on the TV, turning the volume down low, and puts it on Life and Living. Thankfully, it looks like she manages to catch part of the show. But unfortunately, she doesn't get much out of it. Just a few tricks and a few things to help with carpentry. She regrets missing the full show, but at least she got something out of it. Resolving to catch the next show in its full entirety. She decides to leave that TV on just in case. Maybe a few extra seconds worth of time she might be able to get an extra bit of knowledge. Instead of fumbling for the dials like she did. And she returns to her house, slowly, carefully, looking at all the zombies that she sees still in that direction. Going the way she came, though, everything still looks clear. Quiet and careful, she stealths her way into her home. Still not seeing any zombies, but deciding to take it quiet and careful. She returns to that dark kitchen and turns the light on. She places the gun case on the table. And she then takes her duffel bag and starts divvying up stuff to where it needs to go. She starts putting all the baking stuff together and hopes that she might be able to bake some bread. After putting that there, she moves on and starts putting canned goods and stuff away as well. Just organizing things and getting things ready. It's actually good that she's gotten so much food because she never knows when somebody might come along and need extra supplies. She wants to help other people. So far, everybody's been good, but then again, everyone's also been dead. She doesn't know if anyone else is even alive around here. For all she knows, she actually might be alone. She tries not to think too much about it after realizing that, and focuses on just putting stuff away. After putting everything away, he gets out one of the notebooks and decides to start a journal. It's been a week since the outbreak started. Running out of supplies, I checked on the neighbors' houses. They are all walking and dead. I put them down with a pipe I found in my garage. I don't know if my roommates lived through this, but if you find this notebook, I tried my best to get food into the house for everyone and to shelter in place. If you find me and I'm one of them, don't hesitate. I'll understand. Takes the note and puts it on the table, right above where the food is. And she moves on. It's still 2 in the afternoon, almost 3 actually. So she gets a drink, and then proceeds to go about doing more work. It's only 2, but she decides that maybe she could go across the street and check out the garage that the neighbor has. She sees a zombie to her left, wandering through. He hasn't noticed her yet, and so she makes a quick roundabout, checking all of her surroundings and making sure not more aren't coming from the backyard. She manages to get his attention and comes up on it quickly, pushing it over as best as she can, and then taking it out with a good blow. She doesn't see anything of worth or value on him. And as she moves forward and ponders on what she just thought of, she realizes she's slowly become a little bit desensitized to the fact that she just killed what was once a living thing. Shaking her head, she decides to go up to the window of the garage and look inside. She sees nothing of immediate danger. Double checking her surroundings again. Still nothing. She opens up her window. Getting inside and shutting it. Checking the boxes, she finds, funnily enough, surgical equipment and several books. One on mechanics that she quickly puts in her bag, and a second book on trapping and foraging. She grabs those up and then checks the shelves, finding not much that she doesn't already have, except for a shovel, actually. Putting that in her bag, she checks the trash cans and finds nothing. She exits through the big door, even though it's louder. Checking the side yard to make sure there's no zombies that could sneak up on her while exploring the house. She opens the window and crawls in. Looks like somebody was in the middle of making something here. She gets the feeling that maybe she isn't alone in this house, and slowly starts to creep forward. Scanning. Looking. Careful. She hears it. Something is busting down something. She goes to the windows and closes them. Or closes the blinds. To the garage, even though she hears the noises from upstairs. She finds nothing and closes the door of the garage. Moving from room to room, even though she can hear the noises of something trying to break out. She wants to make sure there's nothing on the bottom floor that'll see her. Nothing in the laundry room. And still yet nothing. No one downstairs. She finally moves upstairs to where the noises are coming from. Checking the door, she doesn't see immediately where it might be coming from, but she moves down the hall and checks those doors. Hearing something coming from one door, she opens it and sees if there's a zombie being on a door. It notices her and she throws it to the ground as best she can, struggling, but eventually ending it in one blow. Checking the man, she finds keys on his person and puts them on her key ring, marking them to make sure she knows if they're the neighbor's keys. She checks the closet, but doesn't see anyone in here. The zombie must have heard some random noise and thought it came from the closet. So she checks the rest of the room, finding nothing really of worth, realizing she risked a fight with the undead for pretty much nothing. But she doesn't know what she might find. She just knows that she needs to find things and do her best to survive in this apocalypse. She finds another fanny pack that she can wear on the back of her waist. It might look a little ridiculous, but it'll be handy for carrying different things. She finds another duffel bag, and feels blessed that she has plenty of bags to carry things now. She She finds some sleeping tablets and realizes that if she's anxious one night, those might come in handy. She takes them with her and proceeds on, closing the door behind her. She checks the next room and finds lots of bookcases. Most of it, however, is stuff she knows or is about to learn. But she does find, however, a magazine and a first aid book. Checks the rest of his small office and finds another empty notebook. Taking it with her, she continues to move in from room to room, closet to closet, taking things that she finds might be useful. She finds another fanny pack and decides that maybe it might be worth having more than one. Maybe swap out different ammos and stuff for different guns. She finds another rifle and grabs it up. This one has loose ammunition and no real box to put it in, so she decides that for once she's going to load it. Accidentally pulling out her flashlight instead. Back in her hands, she loads it. And checks the sight, even though she doesn't quite know what she's doing. Nothing else of worth in the closet, so she quickly puts the gun away and gets out a pipe. She knows how to use that. Finds a plunger and decides against taking it, opting instead to get the bandages out of it. She finds a zombie in the closet, her heart racing, breathing heavy. She stands over it, trying to get her. She decides that once her heart has stopped beating so hard, she removes her foot from its chest and starts beating it. She's tired, opts to just take a moment to get a breather, but then she realizes it's 6 o'clock. Grabbing a sturdy pair of boots that she finds, she starts making her way downstairs. She doesn't want to miss another show, so she goes to the TV that she saw earlier and immediately turns it on, turning it to the proper channel. Nothing plays. Somehow, she missed the show. Saddened and realizing that she keeps missing opportunities to learn more, she decides that maybe she should head back. Quietly checking her surroundings, she decides that she's gonna make it over there a little bit faster. She wants to learn more. She wants to do more to survive, prepare. She doesn't want her legacy to end after a week or so. She gets a drink, sees her note, wondering if she somehow sealed herself to that fate, and starts putting things away. She keeps the metal pipe that she's been using the most and throws the old other metal pipe into the cabinet along with the gun that's loaded and bandages, batteries, other odds and ends she picks up. She takes a sturdy pair of military boots that she found in that one closet and puts them on. They're not as quiet, but they are good for being durable, and who knows, if a zombie tries to bite her through them, she might get a little bit more protection than a soft top sneaker. She puts a single round of 227 and takes the duffel bag out and places it on the counter just in case she needs to quickly stuff stuff inside. And why not? Might as well put the other fanny pack there too. She continues to move through her inventory, putting things away, catalog, in a sort of organized fashion. She moves her stuff over to the bookcase now, realizing that she's hungry, but she can't quite eat just yet. She needs to put everything away first. She's always been very meticulous about things. She takes the duffel bag off and puts it on the ground. That way she can more easily grab things and put them into the bookcase. Tossing the extra pair of sneakers on the ground, she puts the duffel bag back on her back. With a few things inside, but she actually needs, like the scissors, the flashlight, the saw, the screwdriver. And then she takes her metal pipe and that little bit of string and puts it on her back. She feels good. She also feels hungry, so she checks the fridge. She sees that she has the things to make a good meal, but unfortunately, while she did most of her cooking at the place that she works, she doesn't have many pots and pans or things to work with. So instead, she decides to opt for a good old can of chili. Opening it up, eating it. No pot to put it in. She realized that she didn't check that last neighbor's kitchen. She's going to have to just do that tomorrow. Doing what she can, a little bit every time, every day. Checking on the way things are. Making sure that all the entrances are good. She decides that she's had her fill of killing things for the day and decides to wash up really quickly. The time passing. She's done now. It's been a long and eventful day, and she had one close call, so she decides to rest at the couch. It's 8:30 at night. She's losing a little bit of weight, she feels like. Maybe she needs to eat more. But she does know that she killed 3 more zombies today. Still using that metal pipe she found. It's surprisingly effective. Tomorrow, she needs to check on that kitchen and maybe read a few more books. If she's at home, well, it's not likely she's going to miss the shows, is it? Well, having decided what she's going to do the next day, deciding not to plan too far ahead beyond that, she goes to sleep for the night. Thank you all for watching this episode, and please catch the next one and find out what happens to Kristie on day 3. Thank you, and I hope you have a good night.